Woman and Republican. Is it possible to be both? The two often feel like an oxymoron, like Boss Baby or President Trump. That makes sense. Not only is the GOP rife with domestic abuse and sexual assault allegations, but the party of family values has consistently voted against women and family values. So who are the conservative women who are still in the Republican boat, and will they ever mutiny? First off, let me clarify that I believe in every woman's right to choose, both when to be a mother of either a baby or a purse dog, and which party within our anti-democratic two-party cash toilet to support. But that doesn't mean I can't ask why. Why would an American woman who, say, believes not just in family values, but in American values like freedom and equality, vote Republican? On a superficial level, I get it. Republican women look at the other side and think, pussy hats are boxy, and Rosie the Riveter overplucked her eyebrows, and Lena Dunham is obnoxious. And they're right about all of that. But why do women support a party that has an egregiously anti-woman stance, both legislative and personal, like the domestic violence allegations against two White House staffers, and the sexual assault allegations that brought down the RNC finance chair? How could 42% of female voters support a man who bragged about grabbing women by the genitals? Yet, whenever you bring any of that up, conservative ladies Wonder Woman away the criticism. Zink!
That was locker room talk, as he said.
Zink!
Boy talk.
Zink!
I think it's a pretty inappropriate question to ask a daughter.
Zink!
Do you care if your president had an affair before he was president?
No. Not if it's before.
Before is history, and history is fake news. Time is a flat circle. Everything we have done or will do, we will do over and over and over again forever. Matthew McConaughey, True Detective. Conservative women are so defensive. They kind of feel like that girlfriend you have. You know, the one who's dating a guy you really think isn't good for her, and the more you try to point out how he seems inconsiderate and has been accused by 22 women of sexual misconduct or cheated on his wife with a porn star, the more they paint you as the bad guy. Take Fox host Laura Ingraham, who's gone so far as to call the Me Too movement a Democratic plot.
Gillibrand has fully weaponized the Me Too hashtag movement with the intention of driving the female vote in the midterms.
What? Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is proposing legislation to make lawmakers accused of sexual assault pay settlements with their own money, not the taxpayers. Laura, how can you be against that? Wouldn't it be nice to keep the $7 a month Fox News takes out of your paycheck for line item Hannity's oopsies? Oh, and by the way, for all those who've already all capsed in the comments, what about Bill Clinton and other Democrats? You're right. They are creeps, and all presidents should be held to a much higher standard. So you gonna do that? Or are you gonna keep commenting? Okay, you just left another comment. I got it. No, keep typing. Nobody's gonna read it. Conservative women also love to point out that, unlike liberals, they don't play identity politics. So what if only 5% of Congress is made up of Republican women? It's not about gender, it's about policy. And yet, every time someone asks them if Trump could possibly have a problem with women, they're suddenly okay with playing the woman card.
Does he have an insensitivity for women?
Absolutely not. This is a president that's hired women at record rates.
He puts strong, very outspoken women in very powerful positions.
Elevated me to the top level of his campaign because he respects women.
Yes, he doesn't hate women, he hires them. Also known as the I have a black friend of sexism. I wonder how they explained away his comments about shithole countries. President Trump has vacationed in many shithole countries, and some of his best friends are shithole countries. So who's the racist? And while the women in Trump's cabinet might be more prominent, that's not because there are more of them. It's mostly because no one can believe nepotism in 2018 actually works. Only 22% of Trump's cabinet is women, which is the lowest percentage when compared to the last 3 administrations, 2 of which were Democrat. So if you want to play the woman card, Kellyanne, Dems have a better hand. Beyond representation and who grabbed whom, Republican women will say that they're Republicans because theirs is the party that helps them succeed.
Most women want greater economic opportunities.
Women want jobs. They want economic opportunity. They want to put gas in the tank and food on the table.
Well, it means that you want to keep your own money that you earn.
You know, the women that I know care about the economy. They care about economic opportunity.
Okay. Conservative women want economic opportunity, to make money and keep it, and they believe their party is the one to get them there. But if you look at their policies, Republicans actually vote against women's economic opportunities time and time again. Just look at pay equity, Medicaid, and maternity leave. First, pay equity. The Republican-controlled Senate voted against paycheck fairness 3 times. They've blocked measures to make it easier for employees to seek fairness and to ensure employers wouldn't retaliate. In 2014, paycheck fairness didn't get a single Republican vote. Maybe that's because the Obama-favored legislation comes from the lawsuit of an uppity, hysterical, liberal feminist who's just overly focused on me, 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 me.
I'm not anyone special. It touches every family across this nation. It's ruining this country that women are so mistreated in their pay and their benefits. It's not a woman's issue. It's a family issue.
Like I said, me, me. Then there are cuts to Medicaid, the federal program that helps low-income families access health care. The majority of people on Medicaid are women. In 2014, that meant 25 million women compared to just about 14.5 million men. And those women tend to be single mothers, women of color, and women with disabilities. But the new Republican budget proposes to cut Medicaid by $266 billion. Also on their budget wish list, or poor death wish, is cutting food stamp programs and Section 8 housing. And what do you know? Women happen to be twice as likely to be on food stamps at some point in their lives. And 3/4 of Section 8 homes are households led by women. And if that weren't bad enough, Republican-controlled states have started implementing work requirements for Medicaid and food stamps, leading to what may seem like remarkable breakthroughs if your name is Steve Ducey.
They just replaced the work requirements on food stamps. And as it turns out, in 13 counties in Alabama, the number of people on food stamps went down 85%.
Wait, Ducey is actually excited about that stat because he thinks that people who no longer get food stamps all miraculously got jobs. The GOP could put a height requirement of 6'5" to acquire food stamps, and Ducey would be like, oh, hey, it made people taller. And finally, paid family leave. You'd think that the party of family values would want to do everything in their power to make sure women can become mothers and be able to take care of their babies. And what do you know? Marco Rubio is helping fulfill a Trump campaign promise to give you family leave by borrowing out of your Social Security.
You'll be able to basically take some of your Social Security early. And so it would reduce the liability of the federal government later. That's one idea that's been floated. That would be interesting.
Yes, interesting like chlamydia. Delaying retirement to spend time with your children, all while the GOP makes it harder and harder to get birth control, is a recipe for misery. So if I add up all the babies Republicans want me to have, times the number of weeks I have to take off to raise them, I can retire when I'm 107. God bless America. In the private sector, only 13% of people have any paid family leave at all, with most of those workers being in management and office jobs. But then the lower-paying service industry jobs don't offer anything even close. So as a woman, how can it possibly make sense to vote for a party that makes it harder for you to get fair pay and harder to raise, feed, and get healthcare and housing for your family? I just don't understand how anyone could possibly believe that by the light of Ivanka Trump's $4,200 diamond ring. I get it. I get it. Just... What powerful Republican women suffer from has nothing to do with gender at all. It just has to do with what ails every powerful Republican: classism. Could it be that these women buy into the Republican small government trickle-down economic ideology because they've had it good? They rail about handouts, but they've had things handed to them. They talk about entitlements, but what about the entitlement it takes to be a woman who inherited all her wealth from a guy who inherited all his wealth and turn around and write a book called Women Who Work? More like women who say, "Daddy, please." What I'm saying is this. Conservative women might love the Republican Party, but their party loves them conditionally, if they pass a wealth means test. The GOP only pretends to love poor women, like Trump pretends to love Tiffany. And yet, Republican women somehow still think they're the party of Ivankas, hot winners. So, conservative ladies, no one is asking you to be a liberal or a progressive. I'm saying it makes way more sense, but I'm not asking you to be one. But maybe rethink your dependence on that crap boyfriend, or slew of boyfriends, because they've been gaslighting you this entire time. Thanks again for watching Newsbroke. I'm Francesca Fiorentini. You can follow me on Twitter at FrannyFio. And please subscribe to this channel on YouTube and to our Facebook watch page by just clicking that follow button. And why don't we do something different? Why don't we let women have the first crack at the comments on these videos? If you want to call me names, be a woman before you do it. That'd be great. How do you feel about what I just said? Are you a conservative woman yourself? Are you trying to change your party? Do you know conservative women who want to see their party just, move into the 21st century? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you next week.